And if I stand right here behind the driver's seat, if you listen very carefully, underneath the car is dripping water. Hey everybody, welcome back to Tenza Motorsports. Today I would like to be getting rid of the rest of the interior and maybe start here on the front of the car. There is a lot of weight to be lost still, even though we've probably pulled off close to 300 pounds or so is just a rough guess from what everything weighs together. Now this car will weigh a lot less than some of these other cars we've been stripping, especially my E36, where I left a lot of the body panels on. Like I previously stated, we are taking off everything that this car doesn't absolutely need to run. And I also mentioned in the last video, if any E36 owners out there see anything they want, to let me know. The majority of this is garbage, and I'm actually gonna be packing up the truck so I can take it to the dump, because I've just got a lot of pieces that are completely ruined, and so old and dusty or gross, it wouldn't matter, especially like the carpet and stuff like that. All that's got to go. But I'm hoping to lose another couple 100 pounds today getting all this off there, and then I'm going to sort through everything, keep what I think I can resell, and throw all the garbage away. So this is our garbage pile here. This is stuff that's too dirty or has broken as I removed it. So for example, this trim piece here sits up back behind the rear seats, and it just completely fell apart, which leads me to believe that this has been exposed to the sun a lot, because a lot of this plastic is just super dry. So either the car was left with its top off for a very long time, or the owner drove around with the top down a lot. Look how dry and bad this leather is. So I kneeled on this earlier. Just ripped the stitching right out of the centerpiece. And if I stand right here behind the driver's seat, if you listen very carefully, it's dripping water. I don't know if you guys can hear that at all, but underneath the car is dripping water out from whatever hole on the frame or whatever, kind of like my race car. So if we go straight up from where we are right here to my race car, there's like a hole right here. I'm not sure what these are for, but there's probably something like this on the bottom of this 36, and it's just dripping water out the bottom as I stand right here. So there's obviously been a lot of water in here. One other thing I want to talk about is I keep all the screws while I'm doing teardowns like this. I have a bucket for my 46, we have a bucket for the other 30 and the 36 that have been on the channel. I've just been sticking the screws in this bucket, and then I actually have a permanent spot where we'll be keeping them. But every time you pull off screws and stuff like that, if you're doing a car like this, just hold on to them, because you have no idea when you'll be using them next. And it might not even be for your car, it might be for somebody else's BMW. I know that oftentimes I will go look through that bucket and we'll find screws for other projects that ended up working really nicely. So I just keep all the nuts and bolts and screws that I get out of my cars. So it is now time to actually pull the carpet out. I do not have a full-on respirator, I've just got a dust mask. So what I'm gonna be doing is cutting around these areas that have mold, and I will be able to get these out really quickly, and then the carpet that's sitting up underneath the dash and stuff like that, I can get out a little bit later. So I'm not working with this mold for a long amount of time. So let's get the razor blades out, I'm gonna cut this carpet out and hopefully get the majority of the mold out in a very timely fashion. There is one good thing I can say about this, and there was a little bit of water in here, not a lot, but as I'm pulling these wires up off of the sound deadening, it looks like the sound deadening's actually come completely off, which is good for us because then I don't have to scrape it off. Normally they spray whatever sticky stuff that they use to put this down, this tar stuff, to keep, you know, the sound deadening staying on the floor, but it looks like whatever water was in here has actually loosened up whatever adhesive they were using. So I'm gonna get the sound deadening out of this, and then the next thing I'm going to be doing is pulling the dash out. Well, there you have it. I ran out of time tonight. I did want to do some more weight reduction, but it looks like between cleaning up and getting the truck ready to take everything to the dump, I'm getting pretty low on time. So the hardest thing to get out of this car was probably the dash. There's these stupid little tiny screws that sit way up on the dash, and by the time you get a wrench in there, you're so close to the windshield that you can't actually get your fingers in there to turn anything. So one of them I ended up just pulling off. The middle one and the one on the driver's side I did end up actually getting to come out completely, but that wasn't until I had actually ruined the dash to get to the screws, because the way the dash is shaped, they're so close to the screw, it's just a mess. It's super tight up there to get that dash off. And then I uncovered this rat's nest of wires where somebody had gone through and spliced in their remote control system for an unlock and lock, and then a start system, I believe. So I'm gonna wanna get rid of all that. And then they didn't use a pigtail wiring harness when they put in the radio, so it's actually wired straight to the car. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to get the radio out without just cutting all the wires off. I know in the last 36 we did, when we disconnected the battery and took off the radio, it actually thought it was being stolen, so it shut the car down so that we couldn't actually get it to start up again. But the rest of the night I'm gonna clean up and reset, and then the next video, hopefully we can dig a little bit more into some of these panels we can take off. We can go over the engine and see how healthy the car is, get the car jacked up, and see if there's anything going on with the rear suspension. So thanks for watching. Like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new, check out my Patreon, link is in the description below, and we'll see you in the next video.